Thursday morning and welcome to Korea Today, brought to you live from Seoul.
The first day of reunions for families separated by the Korean War. Canceled last September and suspended since 2010. The event begins today. Chun Song-cho is live in Sokcho, where the families will leave for Mount Kumgang.
It's Yara time as we take a look at her final Olympic short program performance.
And in business news, it's good news for redevelopers as the government moves to ease regulations to boost the housing market. That story coming up.
It's every athlete's dream, the gold medal. This year's Sochi medals are the largest in size and has something else other than gold in it. We look at what that gold medal is worth. Then we'll take you to Taebaek for a breath of fresh air and a breathtaking sight. From snowshoes to a hearty meal in the picturesque highlands of Gangwon-do province, we have it all on this Thursday, February 20th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And good morning. Welcome to Korea Today on this Thursday morning.
And it was a sleepless night for many fans here in Korea.
right.
Where else could we start but with figure queen Kim Yeonha's wonderful first performance at the Sochi Olympics, which took her a big step closer to securing historic back-to-back Olympic golds. The nation's sweetheart skated her way to first place at the halfway point with a near-flawless short program. Kim's score of 74.92 was the highest for a short program this season. The competition is still breathing down her neck, though, with Russian Adelina Sotnikova and the 2012 world champion Karolina Kostner just a few decimal points behind Kim going into the free skate. Now, that gets underway in the early hours of Friday morning, Korea time, and longtime rival and Vancouver silver medalist Mao Asada of Japan sits in 16th.
It's the day they've been waiting for more than 60 years. Families from South and North Korea torn apart by the Korean War will meet on this Thursday in the North Korean resort town of Mount Kumgang. More than 80 South Koreans selected for the event will cross the border this morning with their family members to meet with their loved ones in North Korea for their first inter-Korean family reunions in 3 years and 4 months. During the three-day event, the South and North Koreans will meet for 6 occasions and spend 11 hours in total together.
I only got a couple of hours of sleep right before midnight, and I had many thoughts about what it would be like.
A 12-member South Korean medical team is accompanying the families as more than 90% of them are over the age of 70. And some 370 South Koreans will cross the border for a second round from the 23rd to the 25th. Police have summoned at least 30 people for questioning as they continue with their investigation into the collapse of an auditorium in Gyeongju that killed 10 people and injured more than 100 others. According to the investigation, no snow had been cleared from the rooftop of the collapsed structure in the week prior to the accident, despite the heavy snow, and none of the 10 guards were on duty at the time. Investigators are also looking into whether the structure in question was built in accordance with industrial standards and safety regulations and whether regular inspections were carried out. If resort managers and the event operators are found to be at fault, the police say they could hold those accountable for involuntary manslaughter.
And in its annual policy report to the president Wednesday, Korea's Ministry of Oceans and Fisheries said it will strengthen the country's control over its uninhabited islands. Many reference points marking the nation's territorial waters were established in the 1960s and have either been damaged or installed in incorrect locations. The ministry said it will build permanent structures such as observation points on 23 key islands.
A line marking the territory will be established by utilizing reefs or islands which can be used as reference points. By using this method, it will greatly increase the area of our territorial waters.
With this, Korea's territorial waters will increase by around 120 square kilometers. That's roughly 14 times the size of Seoul's financial district of Yeouido.
And good morning, everyone. Time for a look through your newspaper headlines. And it's worth saying again, she captured the night. Figure queen Kim Yeona took on the ice for her one last Olympic short program, and she did not disappoint. It's also the top story on several of our newspapers this morning. So let's go ahead and take a look at it on 동아일보. The title to the image reads, "The Queen was confident." And despite the incredible pressure that was placed on her shoulders, Kim Yeona skated a near perfect program and earned a 74.92 to glide first into tomorrow's free skate. You can see her there in the moment, soaking in her musical tune, Send in the Clowns. And the sub-headlines also say that her teammates, Kim Hae-jin and Park So-yeon, will also move on to the free skate program. Now, more to come in sports with SJ Lee, so we'll go ahead and leave that there for now and switch gears a bit to take a look at another story on Gyeongyang Shinmun. The other major story this morning is the realization of the long-fought-for reunions of families separated by the Korean War. And the front page image on Gyeongyang Shinmun captures the desperation and longing of the families ripped apart when the country was torn in two. And the title reads, "Separated Family Reunions, I'll go even if I have to go lying down." And who you're seeing there is 91-year-old Kim Sum-kyung. They're entering a condo in Sokcho, Gangwon-do province, where participating South Koreans are gathered before moving on to Mount Kumgang on the North Korean side together. And the caption explains that Kim had fallen ill with cold symptoms, but joined the group from the emergency room to make sure he sees his daughter and son, both in their 60s, on the North Korean side. And it explains that he was barely able to mouth out words as Red Cross Korea's president, Yoo Jung-gun, there is lending an ear. All right, next up is 중앙일보. We'll switch over to some political news next over at Korea's National Assembly. The headline reads, "Plenary session today, 50 lawmakers not in the country." The subheadlines explain that the future of the bills awaiting a vote, several of them related to the livelihoods of the people, is uncertain now as a delegation of 40 lawmakers headed to China, while 7 left for Sochi for the closing ceremonies. The article says that National Assembly Speaker Kang Chang-hee is also on a business trip, and it goes on to include the heated exchange between two lawmakers over what to do about this conjurum. Meanwhile, over at 조선일보, we'll go ahead and take a look at this story down here. It reads, former Japanese Prime Minister Yukio Hatoyama says Japanese government needs to issue an apology that's clear to everyone. And it is a statement that he's cited to have made during the Asian Leadership Conference sponsored by The Daily, adding there that the Japanese government also needs to concern itself with how it can contribute to the inevitable reunification of the two Koreas. And finally, we'll wrap with a look at our business daily for today and take a look at this headline: restitution for redevelopment projects to be scrapped within the year is what it reads. And this is part of the proposal Korea's land ministry submitted to President Park Geun-hye yesterday as a means of stimulating the housing market. The article explains the so-called redevelopment restitution system, which calls for redevelopers to surrender excess profits to the government, is being seen as a regulation that's serving as a roadblock to redevelopment efforts. Thus, the government plans to do away with it altogether when the temporary exemption expires at the end of this year. It also says that support for the so-called house poor and rent poor will be expanded as well. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Thursday. Next up are your Wednesday closing numbers, as well as your weather for today.
The much anticipated family reunions for families separated by the Korean War will begin today for the next 6 days at Mount Kumgang, and the families from the South Korean side are all ready to go.
That's right. Chun Song-cho joins us from Sokcho in Gangwon-do province for more. Song-cho?
Good morning, everyone. I'm reporting live from Sokcho, Gangwon-do province. More than 100 people have gathered here at this resort for the family reunion that's going to take place in a short while. And this will be their first time to reunite with their family members since the Korean War in some 60 years. And many are very, very anticipating for this event, of course. And the last family reunion took place more than 3 years ago in 2010. So here we have a total of 82 elderly South Koreans accompanied by 58 family members. So altogether 140 people here. And in a short while at around 9 a.m., they will depart for the Mount Kumgang Resort in North Korea by bus, where 178 North Korean relatives will be waiting for their arrival. There were some concerns, though, earlier on that the event could be postponed due to some heavy snowfall over at the resort area, but an advance team was dispatched along with some snow plows to clear the roads leading up to the venue, so there seems to be no problem now. So you see a couple of elderly South Koreans waiting for the departure right now. A medical team and ambulance will be accompanying the participants in case of any emergencies, as 25 of them are over 90 years old, and the majority of the participants are actually over the age of 80. In fact, there was one participant yesterday who came here by ambulance due to his bad health conditions, but he was too eager to see his long-lost sister in North Korea that he just could not give up and had to come here anyway. So this long-awaited reunion will start off officially at around 3 p.m. today, and families will meet 6 times over the next 3 days until Sunday. The total duration of these meetings will add up to about 11 hours. That's a short period of time to catch up on what they've missed for the past 60 years, but many are hoping that this will at least provide them the opportunity to meet their loved ones again and have some wonderful time together. This has been Chun Song-cho, Korea Today.
So lots of emotions and tears expected today. Those are the very people who've lived through the Korean War, and we have an author joining us this morning who's also lived through the Korean War.
Maija Rhee Devine, also known as Maija, lived through the Korean War just when she was 7 years old and experienced the war firsthand. She joins us after the publishing of her autobiographical novel. Good morning.
Good morning.
So tell us about your novel, The Voices of Heaven.
It's based, it is based on autobiographical material. It was at first a memoir, but later, upon the recommendation of an agent in New York, I changed it to a novel. But it's based on my parents' love story. They were very much in love with each other, lived for 15 years very happily, but the Confucian tradition at that time required that he produce a boy baby somehow. My parents couldn't brood. And so they invited a woman to come into the house, and she lived with them for years, decades, and eventually she produced 4 boys and 1 girl. And so it was their love story, their heartbreak. The man and the husband, my parents, didn't want to have that kind of polygamous situation, but they had to.
It's a heartbreaking story and a love story at the same time also. But do you think that kind of preference over boys, that Confucianism values are still very much alive in Korea? And also, do you talk about that in your book?
Yes. Many people who read my book think that this story was a story of the past. It's no longer happening now. And my readers, the most commonly asked question is, do these things still happen? And I say, no, men don't live with 2 hot chicks in the same house anymore. Too bad for the men. But still, the male values continue in Korean society. And people living here may not realize it, but people like me coming from outside. I've been living in the United States longer than I ever lived here. And I can see plainly, and also there are statistics that show that Korea still is very male-oriented country. For example, I hate to bring this up, but the son preference is still running quite significantly. And in 1994, 30,000 females were prevented from being born. And that number has reduced drastically now. It's been cut down by at least 85%. But even 2013 figure shows that the boy ratio to girls being born, boys are 107 over 100 girls. And the normal rate that the Korea and China and India that also have population imbalance problem, they try to have 104 or 105 boys to 100 girls.
Well, we do also see a lot of parents that want to have sons to carry on the family name, but we do also see a lot of increasing preference for daughters as well, the increase of dalbabos, as we say here in Korea.
So they say, oh, we now don't have son preference. We have daughter preference. And they present this as though this shows how completely they transcended the son preference culture. But the daughter preference is the other side of the same coin. That is also gender biased perception. And what I would like to say to Koreans, especially the younger generation, is can we just love our children
regardless
as human
gender,
beings, not as boys or not as girls.
And you have plans to translate this book into Korean, The Voices
I
of
already
Heaven.
translated it.
Right, and what kind of response do you think this will get in Korea?
I have been getting, I showed the
You have
manuscript.
yet to publish it, right?
It has to be published. I am looking for someone to publish it. And initial responses are extremely favorable, partly because I show Korean language as a living language that's different from Chinese and different from Japanese by showing proverbs, old proverbs. I use about 100 of them. And so it gives a very good flavor of Korean language and Korean culture, distinctly different from Chinese and Japanese.
That's right. I'm already impressed by you describing your book and also telling us about what your book was about and your thoughts in it. Now, you're here to give a TED Talk, right?
Yes.
Can you give us a little preview of what you're going to be talking about?
Yes, I will be giving the talk on Saturday. And it is about one of the two main themes of my novel. One is Korean War, and the other is the Confucian tradition, which includes son preference. And I show some numbers that show that son preference has continued even to this day, but at a very much reduced rate. But they still have a little ways to go.
And the title of this TED Talk is Turning It Over.
Yes.
How did you come up with this title?
The TED Talk team came up with the title, and I love it.
What does it mean, turning it over?
Turning it over. Things that have been on the surface was not seen, but you turn it over. The other side, the underside, the hidden part. And so, like for example, this son preference, Korean people now think that son preference is thing of the past. But I ask, is it? Is it really? There are signs that it is still continuing at a much reduced rate, but still.
That's a very thought-provoking question right there.
Yes.
Now, you're working on another book, a novel and a poetry collection, I believe, on former sex slaves who were forced into sexual slavery by the Japanese army. Now, tell us more about this project.
I began to work on it. This is one of the paintings done by one of the former Korean comfort women, Kim Sun-duk
It's called
할머니.
Stolen Away.
Yes, she is being dragged away by a Japanese soldier. And that's why I'm wearing this today. And I would like to write this as a novel and also as a collection of poetry. And I want to tell the truth. Try to tell the truth. I don't know if I can, but I'll try to tell the truth from many different angles, not just Korean angle, not just from Japanese angle. There are other dimensions, human connection levels, multi-dimensional kind of a work. And I am a little bit scared because it is such an internationally confrontational type of subject matter.
And the family reunions are taking place today, will take place today. As a survivor, if you will, of the Korean War, as someone who's lived through the Korean War, what are your thoughts on this?
Yes, I was 7 years old when the Korean War broke out, and I was among thousands of people who fled Seoul in the winter of 1950. And some people had mattresses over their heads to keep from getting hit by the bullet. And so as a person like that, my heart goes out to them because especially, of course, families are important to everybody in the whole world, but especially to people in Confucian societies like China and Japan and Vietnam and Korea. Family, without the family being intact, members feel incomplete. Their life is incomplete. And so these folks who have been separated, they have been feeling their life emptiness for 60 years. And I could just cry.
Well, thank you very much for coming out here today and telling about your novel, The Voices of Heaven, which is going to be translated in Korea and is awaiting publishment. Korean readers can pick up that book soon enough.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck to you with your future projects.
Thank you.
And still ahead on Korea Today. Now, speaking of daughters, I'm sure her parents are very, very proud of her. First place after her short program, and she glides with beautiful jumps and graceful moves. Figure skaters awe spectators with their superb talent. We look at figure queen Kim Yeona's wardrobe and the designs behind them. But first, SJ has your sports.
The wait is over as we finally got a chance to watch Kim Yeona compete in the women's figure skating event in Sochi. And what do you know? She didn't disappoint as she delivered what Michelle Kwan described as breathtaking. And as the figure queen performed in her last Olympic short program of her illustrious career, she scores a season best 74.92, good for first overall. And despite it being lower than her Vancouver score of 78.50, her performance left many experts speechless as she hopes to claim her second straight gold on day 13. Meanwhile, Park So-yeon finished with 49.14 and Kim Hae-jin finished with a final score of 54.37. And staying with the women's figure skating event, while Kim Yeona shined on ice, all eyes were on Yulia Nymnyshkaya of Russia and Mao Asada of Japan once the figure queen's performance was over. And despite being considered Kim Yeona's biggest threat, Nymnyshkaya falls in one of her jumps and was deducted a point. And with that, the final score of 65.23 was far lower than her team figure skating result as she finishes fifth overall. And as for Mao Asada, going very last in the event, falls in one of the jumps as well as she scores just 55.51 in the short program, good for 16th overall. Meanwhile, it was another Russian skater who came neck and neck with Kim Yeona as Adelina Sotnikova scored 74.64, just short of Kim Yeona's final score. And while women's figure skating consists of some of the youngest Olympians, one Olympian proved that age doesn't matter when it comes to the Olympics, as Ole Einar Borgendalen became the most decorated Winter Olympian of all time. And after helping Norway win the first Olympic mixed relay in biathlon, he won his 13th medal at the Winter Games, becoming the most decorated Winter Olympian of all time. The 40-year-old has now won 8 gold medals, 4 silvers, and a bronze, and has a shot at another medal on Saturday. And speaking of making history, U.S. bobsledder Lauren Williams made history on day 12 after becoming the 5th athlete to win both the Summer and Winter Olympic Games medal. Now, after winning a gold medal with the U.S. track relay team at London, Williams competes in the two-man bobsleigh event and wins a silver medal for Team USA, as she becomes just the 5th athlete to win both the Summer and Winter Games medals. And finally, take a look at the medal count so far after 12 days of competition in Sochi. Of course, as we take a look here, we see that we have Norway in first place now after adding another gold medal for a total of 9. Germany still with 8 gold medals in second, with the U.S. in third, followed by Russia and the Netherlands. Meanwhile, Korea drops down to 16th overall with 2 gold, 1 silver, and 1 bronze medal. And now, before I say goodbye, let's take a look at other key events to look forward to in day 13 of the Sochi Winter Games.
And with about 2,800 athletes from 88 countries in Sochi, the Sochi Winter Games welcomed the most number of athletes for the Winter Olympic Games.
That's right, 2,800 athletes, but only 98 gold medals up for grabs. So only the best of the best will go home with this medal. I know you have a bit of an obsession with the gold medal.
An obsession with the gold. Well, they don't label the silver and the bronze the winners, but of course, being a silver and a bronze medalist is a feat in itself.
But you can't really put a value to this gold medal. It's priceless, right? But we were curious as to the economics behind the gold medal. So go ahead and take a look.
The Sochi Winter Olympics medals are stunning aesthetic representations of the city's mountaintops, sunshine, and multiculturalism. Each of them were carefully designed and made by craftsmen who dedicated 18 hours for each medal. So, if you were to put a price tag on them, how much would they be? According to Forbes magazine, Sochi's gold medals each cost about $566 US, that's about 600,000 Korean won. Weighing at about 530 grams with a diameter of 10 centimeters, the medal is the biggest in size in the history of the Games. But the actual amount of pure gold that went into them is about 6 grams, with the rest being silver.
According to the Olympics Charter, Olympic medals should measure at least 60 millimeters in diameter and be thicker than 3 millimeters. But the medals for the Sochi Winter Olympics are bigger, being 10 millimeters thick and 100 millimeters wide.
For the Sochi Winter Olympics, about 6 kilograms of gold was used in total to make the gold medals. But the actual economics behind these pieces are quite extraordinary. In the 2010 Vancouver Winter Olympics, when figure skater Kim Yeona won the gold medal, the economic effects of this victory was estimated to be about 5.2 trillion won, or $4.8 billion. Given that her short program in free skating performance adds up to 6 minutes and 50 seconds, every second of her show comes close to ranking in $13.7 million. Many sports marketing experts predict that if Kim wins another gold this time, she will generate more than $5.6 billion in economic value.
With Kim Yeona's gold medal at the 2010 Vancouver Winter Olympics, the direct economic effect was worth about 1.8 trillion won, while the indirect effect of Kim's sponsors and the winter sports industry came close to 2.4 trillion won. In addition, Korea's national image was also enhanced due to continued media coverage, which has an added value of some 920 billion won.
From the moment the athletes enter their respective grounds until they win their medals, all of them become mobile advertisers. That's why each year the market size of Olympic marketing has increased, and it has now skyrocketed to an estimated 10 trillion won, or $9.4 billion.
Companies can definitely expect their brand image and products to receive more exposure all over the world through the Games. For example, Samsung Electronics saw its mobile phone sales skyrocket after the 2010 Vancouver Winter Olympics.
At this year's Winter Olympics, some lucky athletes are awarded with a very special medal. It's none other than the meteorite medals. Only 7 were manufactured to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of a meteor crash in Russia. Because of this, a lot of attention has been given to those, such as short track gold medalist Victor An, who has been given the honor. Not only are these meteorite medals extremely rare, but they're priced at more than $1,800 per gram, 40 times more expensive than pure gold. The asking price for these medals are already rising rapidly. Olympic rewards along with gold medals is another important economic added value. Kazakhstan awards its gold medalists with the largest amount in prize money, according to Bloomberg, at $250,000. Given the country's GDP per capita in 2012 was only about $12,000, a 20th of the prize money, it's a significant amount. For Korea's two-time Olympic gold medalist Lee Sang-hwa, she will be receiving at least $141,000, $56,000 from government prize money, a one-time reward of $61,000 from the country's sports committee, as well as another $28,000 from the Korea Skating Union. The prize money that goes to each athlete for an Olympic medal differs depending on the country and scarcity of the item. But there's something in an Olympic gold that can't be calculated into numbers.
The gold medal is compensation for all the hard work athletes had to endure in overcoming their own limits.
I believe gold medals are priceless and can't be replaced by anything else, since they carry the blood, sweat, and tears of the athletes.
The relentless challenges athletes took on and accomplishments they made over the past 4 years getting ready for the Games is what makes a gold medal even more special.
And still ahead, take off to a winter wonderland in Taebaek, Gangwon-do province. Up in the mountains, Joey Marcadante tests his boundaries with an adventure at new heights, as well as tasting a spicy and hearty chicken dish specialty, all in Taebaek.
Oh, the food just looks fabulous there, right? Well, winning the medal is important, of course, if you're a competitor in the Olympic Games. Gold preferred. But also looking good while you're doing it is important too. Also in the world of figure skating, you know the costumes
That's right.
are just fabulous.
Am I biased in thinking that everything that Kim Yeona wears is beautiful?
No, I think she makes everything look good.
We've put together her past and current outfits on the ice.
As many figure skating fans wait to see whether figure queen Kim Yeona will grab her second Olympic gold medal, there's also a lot of interest in her costumes for the competition. Designer An Gyu-mi created the costumes for Kim's Sochi competition. She said she made the outfits to reflect Kim Yeona's personal taste. While Kim's purple outfit for the free skating program accentuates elegance, the costume's revealing back and shoulders, as well as the skirt slit, are noticeable traits highlighting Kim's body curvature. Her yellow-toned outfit for her short program is not commonly featured in figure skating costumes, but it was used taking into consideration Kim's body shape. Kim's costume closely resembles a yellow flower that bears the meaning of dying love, and many praised her outfit for its perfect fit with the heartbroken misery and pain in her performance song, Send in the Clowns.
Usually, the Yeona's yellow gives vividity. So it really goes well with her play, which is fast and high jump and fast rotation. And also, the bluish gives stability and calm. And also it helps her focus on the game. And also for free skating, her black and purple combined color really goes well with the song that she plays with Adios Nonino.
Kim Yeona's figure skating outfits have all highlighted her body contour and moves. But how comfortable are they? As detailed and dynamic movements are a must for figure skaters on ice, it's crucial that the outfits are comfortable fits. So, what do figure skaters think are interesting features in these costumes?
The outfits may look uncomfortable and tight, but they are actually really comfortable and flexible since they fit perfectly on your body. One special characteristic is that no matter how intense or dynamic the moves are, the costumes never get wrinkled.
Even after dynamic moves, figure skating outfits must maintain their original form, as observed in Kim Yeona's costumes. And the secret behind this lies within the fabric.
Figure skating outfits are usually made with a four-way spandex fabric called lycra. Lycra is a great material that's known for its exceptional elasticity, flexibility, resilience, and restoration qualities. That's why clothes made out of lycra rarely get loose or out of form. It's an important component in making costumes for figure skaters.
It's not only technical skills that are judged in figure skating, but the ability to express the elements of art in the music. That's why the music is a major component in determining the design for the costume. Many of Kim Yeon-a's outfits were designed to reflect the motif of the music she used for her performances. For her senior competition debut, Kim performed to Tango de Roxanne and wore a vibrant tango-like outfit featuring strong colors of black and red. Especially, her purple gloves accentuated her light and cheerful moves. When performing to the 007 movie soundtrack, Kim's costume featured a side slit, almost like one of the Bond girls in the movie. She received a big round of applause from the audience when she marked her finale with a Bond girl pose. For her performance with the song Kiss of the Vampire, Kim wore a unique outfit with scarlet-colored neck and back ruffles that made it look as if she were bleeding after being bitten by a vampire. While performing to Les Miserables, Kim received much attention because of her elegant and artistic outfit dotted with beads and elaborate designs on the neckline and sleeve crease, bringing alive the time period set as the backdrop of her performance.
Since figure skaters need to express the music through their movements, it's very important that their costumes are fitting to the story they're trying to tell. That's why many designers get their inspirations from music. Depending on the music, the kinds of movements and the speed of them are all different, so in order to make these moves stand out, it's important to take note of the fabric and which colors to use. The costumes designed this way add to the music an overall atmosphere to bring out a performance of its best.
Kim wore a very special outfit when performing to an arrangement of traditional music called Homage to Korea, featuring traditional songs like Arirang. This costume was especially picked as many Koreans' favorite, as it depicted elegant Korean landscapes drawn with traditional ink. There's one more outfit loved by many Koreans. In January, a survey called Best Dresser Kim Yeon-a allowed people to vote for their favorite costume for Kim online. The costume Kim wore to perform to the music Dance of Death during the 2009 World Figure Skating Championships was picked as the best costume. Her black outfit with dazzling sparkles designed to make it look as if both surging high up and also crashing added to the dynamic performance. Kim Yeon-a continues to make her mark in Korea's figure skating history. With the whole country cheering on for her, many eyes will be on her beautiful outfits as well as her breathtaking performances.
And she does look dazzling in anything that she wears, and she does make the ice a fabulous place. Now, she will be skating in her free skate program early morning on Friday, so another late night for us.
That's right, looking forward to that. Now, the South Korean families taking part in the Inter-Korean family reunions are hopping onto the bus that is headed for Mount Kumgang as we speak. So let's go over to Song-cho, who's standing by at the site.
That's right. Song-cho, over to you.
I'm reporting live from Sokcho, Gangwon-do Province at a resort, and you can see some officials from the Ministry of Unification talking to the elderly people, the family members who are participating the family reunion in North Korea, the Mount Kumgang resort. And actually the minister Ryu Gil-jae himself got on the bus, and he's having some conversation to the people on the bus, saying final goodbyes and wishing them good luck to see their family members. The departure time is 9 a.m., but we have already started to see some a lot of people getting on the bus, eagerly waiting for that 9 o'clock. And you can easily spot some elderly people in wheelchairs, as many of them are too fragile to travel, but they are putting all their efforts and energies to see their long-lost family members once again. Their hands are full of luggages and bags packed with gifts to give to their relatives in North Korea. So they will arrive at the venue at around 1 p.m. The official meeting is going to start at 3 p.m. and they are going to spend some time together for the next 3 days, and they're going to meet 6 times over the next 3 days. I hope they have a wonderful time together. I'm Son Song-Cho, Korea Today.
Now, yesterday was Uju, which is which is according to the lunar calendar, and it's the day that the sprouts start to grow, and that signals the beginning of spring. But for those of you who want to spend that last-minute winter wonderland madness, then Joey Mercadante joins us with a bit more on this. Good morning, Tony Stark.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
You know, normally I'm not really a huge fan of the winter, but when the snow doesn't really fall like this winter in Seoul, I kind of start to miss it a little bit. And so that's why I traveled to Taebaek in Gangwon-do to experience the true winter wonderland
madness.
Yeah, I kind of missed it. So yeah, I traveled down to Taebaek this week, and I explore the it's 700 meters above sea level. And it's an absolutely gorgeous place, and I get to experience lots of fun, and I channel my inner princess as well.
All right,
you can take a look and see
already.
what that is. The inner princess. We'll be looking
my
forward
inner
to that.
princess. Let's take a look at Taebaek in Gangwon-do. Taebaek in Gangwon-do province is surrounded by mountain ranges. Once a large mining region, it has transformed into a breathtaking travel spot. I hopped on a train in Seoul and arrived at the Whistle Stop, 855 meters above sea level. This is where Gangwon-do's winter train comes to a pit stop for visitors to enjoy the stunning scenery.
Let it go, let it go. Hey.
There it is.
Have you seen Frozen? I feel like I'm in the animated world of Frozen, but I'm actually here in Taebaek, Gangwon-do, in Chujeon Station, which is the highest elevated point of all of Korea. This is a special place, and I'm very curious to see what else is in store. Are you curious too? Let's go together and find out. Ready? Let's do it.
So much snow.
Away from the train station and down the snowy hills is a small snow-covered countryside village where the source of the Hangang River flows from. The landscape of this quaint village is mesmerizing, but getting there in this knee-high snow is not easy.
Bit of a workout for you.
It is a workout.
The area did receive a lot of snow. Look at all that snow there.
Oh my goodness, my boots!
My expensive boots are all wet.
그렇게 눈밭에 빠지게 된 게 힘이 들어 어떻게 된겨?
네. 근데 여기 선생님 발에서 이거 뭐예요?
이게 설피라는 건데.
설피?
설피 눈 많이 왔을 적에 빠지지 않게 해서 이제 이 만들어가지고 신고 다니는 이 설피거든요.
Interesting.
Yes, they're snowshoes, yes. And the first step in making them is choosing the right wood.
Is that a bamboo?
이 나무가 다른 나무라고 하는데 부드러우면서 가볍고 다른 나무는 눈에 잘 붙지만 이 가공을 해놓으면 눈에 첫째는 붙질 않아.
Dare tree.
Yes, heated dare wood is bent into an oval-shaped frame. Then the last step is to tightly wind strings horizontally and vertically to make a foothold to complete a Gangwon-do winter essential solpi. When putting on solpi, you need to firmly tie the strings as if tying normal sneakers so they don't easily come off, even in the snow. Now it's time to run up the snowy fields in my solpi.
Wow, look at the difference.
Right.
He was knee-deep in snow.
Your shoes
Yeah, I pointed
sinking right in the snow. But my shoes, Just a little bit. Ding, ding,
not so light.
ding.
My feet feel much lighter even in the snow with the traditional solpi, and I'm able to run in the fields and enjoy the snow.
Right, Usain Bolt of Tebek.
Bonsai.
Feels good.
With my newly made solpi, I officially start my Tebek tour. Walking through the snow-showered forest, I arrive at the source of the Hangang River near the village.
I made it. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah!
The source is actually a small pond, 20 kilometers in circumference, but 2,000 to 3,000 tons of water surge up daily from the bedrock and flows to the Hangang River.
The original starting point of the Hangang River, which is right here. It originates from this mountain. Wow. I feel very lucky, actually, very privileged to have seen this.
After Kumyeongso, my next stop is a very special safety awareness theme park. There are various fun experiences here, and to start off, I get on this 1.4 kilometer cable car that connects the whole park. As soon as I'm on board, I'm blown away by the view of Tebek's winter wonderland.
I'm headed for my next adventure up the mountain, and this cable car is going to take me there. I'm excited to see what it is.
How many people can get on that cable car?
About 4,
4 or 5?
maybe 5, yeah. First thing I see after getting off is this outdoor challenge tree track. With the help of professional instructors, visitors can experience all 25 courses.
Hey! Yeah! Woohoo!
Visitors can test their appetite for challenges, starting with the 11-meter-tall shaky wooden bridge, a height where people feel the most fear, and also taking on other demanding tasks.
So you don't have a fear of heights, it looks like.
Not really.
No problem.
The tree's last hurdle is the zip line, full of excitement against the stunning view of mountains. I get on the zip line and experience the extreme thrill myself. Once up and flying through the air with white, glistening fields in sight, not only have you taken on a new challenge, you can also forget about all your worries in your everyday life.
It's exciting, my heart was racing, it was a thrill. I love it, and I love watching other people. Woohoo! Good job! Yay! 잘했어!
The snow must be a little blinding though.
It is a little bit, yes. After the evening hours settle in, it's time for my food adventure. Time to check out this Korean stew 닭갈비. This dish, unlike Chuncheon 닭갈비, made by stir-frying vegetables and chicken, is made with chicken broth, and it first became popular among coal miners in the 70s.
그 강부들이 많이 먹었던 음식이에요. 옛날에 이거 석탄 지역이잖아요, 태백이. 그 광산 끝나면은 이제 이렇게 해가지고 보통 이제 먹고 그 이제 집으로 가고 이렇게 있죠.
Stew 닭갈비 is the perfect combination of spicy, hearty soup and delicious chicken.
It's more soupy than the one we had in Seoul.
It's great. Shepherd's purse is added to the mix, and it gives it even more flavor and stimulates your appetite.
This chicken tastes very clean, very fresh. It's tender and juicy because it's boiled, and it keeps the taste of the vegetables, the potatoes, the kimchi. It's delicious.
When done eating the chicken, there's another part of the meal waiting for you. It's the fried rice made with the leftover stew, sesame oil, and vegetables.
Now that I've added the rice, it's soaked up all the flavor, all the kimchi, all the 닭갈비, and it's absolutely delicious because it's soft and it's moist and it melts in your mouth.
The city of Tebek offers everything from a picturesque winter landscape, adventures full of excitement, and a delicious local dish that carries the region's history and tradition. How about heading out to Tebek to enjoy what's left of winter?
certainly enjoy the last days of winter,
I
haven't
did.
you?
I got my fix of the snow.
I mean, that's like the best way to make of it. I mean, with as we mentioned, Usu right around. I mean, just passed,
Yeah.
right? And the snow and the winter is we have to say goodbye to it. So I mean, you got the full experience.
Yeah.
So how do I try these experiences out for myself?
Oh, okay. Well, first let's talk about the adventure zone. So the 365 safe town, and basically just check out the website, check out the location, and go visit it. I would say that this place is great for kids and families with children. And then, so if that's you, what I recommend is the natural disaster and crisis zone. So what happens there is you get to experience simulations of like earthquakes, fires, and not just experience it, but they teach you what to do. So it's very informational and
Educational
and
too.
educational. Yeah, and there's other simulation rides you can take. You can get on a rescue helicopter. So yeah, lots of fun. There's trick art that you can take photos of an earthquake, and so yeah, check out the website.
And families with small children, you can check that place out.
That's us.
Educational. There you
Right.
go.
Yeah, and there's the wooden track as well, obviously, that we saw in the report that you can and you can conquer your fears of heights if you have that.
All right, and you brought with you the pair of 설pis
That I made.
that you made. Wow.
you made
and
these.
you
I made them.
it. Wow.
pretty good
How
work.
did you get it to bend like this?
So the fire really helps. You know, you first have to get it, nice and close to the fire, and it starts to slowly soften. You know, to start with, it's pretty soft and flexible, but the wood gives it that extra bend and makes sure it doesn't crack.
Okay.
Okay.
So how do you put this on? You just put it on like this?
And then tie it around your ankle?
Yeah, you'll cross it around once. Over the front, and then you want to tuck it in this back portion. Okay, I don't know, I can't really see it from here, but yeah, that looks...
I don't think these were meant for dress shoes.
Yeah, maybe, perhaps not. It's not complicated. I mean, it seems a bit difficult. You cross it over once, you hook it on, you loop it under, cross it over the top again, loop it at the front, over the ankles twice.
Okay.
Okay, you know what?
Lost
It's
us
now-
there.
it's
For
now
now,
I'm
Sounds
gonna do it like this,
complicated,
and,
but
yeah, it's
it
doing the
comes in
job
all
over here.
sizes. I suppose if you have big feet, then you can make it bigger.
Exactly.
If you have small
I
feet.
think had I had a chance to make one again, I would have made a little bit bigger. I kind of underestimated the size of my feet. Actually, it works now with my sneakers. It fits perfect, but with the boots that you saw in the report, it was not exactly the perfect balance.
It must have really come in handy for the hunters back in those days when they had no snow boots, so they could just wear these and just walk over the snow without going all knee deep.
Absolutely, it makes a huge difference. I mean, your mobility is so much. You have such a better range of mobility, and you move so much faster in the snow. I didn't believe it at first, but once I started to actually play and run around, I was like, wow, these things actually work.
And you can go to a village in Quebec to make these, right?
Yes, Changjuk village. And it's the only place where you can actually still make these, kind of a lost art. And there's other Korean cultural experiences to have there as well. And this village has a website, so check that out as well.
All right, so this is an experience that you can plan for the whole family as well, and enjoying making some crafts. And this is very, very cool. I like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Enjoy the last days of winter.
Enjoy the last days of winter. I certainly did. I got my fix, and I was in my land of the frozen land. It was.
You're like
it was great.
Olaf a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing this report and these huppies for us.
You're very welcome. It was my
thanks,
pleasure.
Juan. All right, that was Joey Mercadante bringing us a taste of Quebec.
All right. That's just about does it for this edition of Korea Today.
And of course, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow on Friday morning at 7.